Chosen one, what you're about to hear will shatter every limiting belief you've carried about lack, about waiting, about wanting. This is not another message of hope deferred. This is a divine announcement, a heavenly decree being downloaded directly into your spirit right now. You are shifting from the painful realm of wanting into the sovereign territory of having. Not tomorrow, not someday, but in this very moment as these words penetrate your consciousness. For years, you've lived in the gap between promise and possession. You've stood at the window of wanting, pressing your face against the glass, watching others feast while you fasted. You've memorized the texture of lack so intimately that abundance feels foreign on your tongue. But chosen one, the Father is speaking now, and his voice is thunder breaking through your drought. The season of wanting has expired. The epoch of having has begun. Listen closely, because what's happening is not just a transfer of resources. It's a complete dimensional shift. You're not just getting what you wanted, you're becoming someone who naturally has. The difference is everything. Wanting keeps you reaching. Having keeps you receiving. Wanting exhausts. Having restores. Wanting begs. Having blesses. And right now, in this sacred moment, heaven is reprogramming your spiritual DNA from the frequency of lack to the frequency of overflow. James 1:17 declares, "Every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights, who does not change like shifting shadows." That unchanging Father has been watching you navigate the wilderness of wanting. He's counted every tear that fell on empty hands. He's heard every prayer whispered through clenched teeth. And now he's declaring over your life what he declared over creation. Let there be light. Let there be breakthrough. Let there be manifestation. Let there be having. But here's what religion won't tell you about this shift. It's not about deserving. You didn't earn this through perfect behavior. You qualified for this through perfect surrender. While you were breaking under the weight of wanting, heaven was breaking open the storehouses of having. While you were calculating what you lacked, God was calculating what you could carry. And he's determined you can carry much more than you ever imagined. The mechanics of this shift are supernatural, but they require natural participation. First, understand that wanting is a frequency, a vibration that repels what it seeks. When you want desperately, you broadcast lack. You send out signals of incompleteness that the universe reads as not ready. But having is a different frequency altogether. Having vibrates with satisfaction, with completeness, with the quiet confidence of someone who knows their source never runs dry. Right now, as you absorb these words, your frequency is changing. You might feel it as warmth spreading through your chest, as a loosening in your shoulders, as tears falling for no reason you can name. That's the shift happening at a cellular level. Your body is releasing the muscle memory of lack. Your nervous system is recalibrating to abundance. Your very atoms are rearranging to hold more light, more blessing, more divine deposit. Proverbs 13:12 says, "Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a desire fulfilled is a tree of life." You've lived with that heart sickness long enough. You've swallowed disappointment like daily bread. But watch what happens when hope transforms into having. That tree of life doesn't just grow in your future. It grows through your present, its roots reaching back to heal your past, its branches stretching forward to shade your generations. Let me tell you exactly how this shift works. Because heaven operates on principles, not accidents. The first principle is divine timing aligned with spiritual readiness. You couldn't have received this before now, not because God was withholding, but because you were still becoming. Every delay was development. Every postponement was preparation. You needed to grow the capacity to hold what was coming. A cup meant for wine cannot hold an ocean. Think about Joseph in Genesis 37 through 50, 17 years old, receiving dreams of greatness, then 13 years of slavery and prison before stepping into having. Those weren't wasted years. They were expansion years. Each betrayal enlarged his capacity for forgiveness. Each false accusation increased his integrity. Each forgotten promise developed his patience. When he finally shifted from wanting freedom to having authority over all Egypt, he could carry it without corruption. You've been in your own expansion program, chosen one. Those years of wanting weren't punishment. They were your PhD in appreciation. They were your masterclass in stewardship. Now you'll hold blessing without arrogance, wealth without worship of it, influence without intoxication. The wanting years made you worthy, not of receiving, but of keeping, of multiplying, of stewarding what's about to flood your life. The second principle is reciprocal recognition. Heaven recognizes you recognizing heaven. When you shift from begging to believing, from pleading to praising, from wanting to knowing you already have, the universe reorganizes around your certainty. Jesus said it clearly in Mark 11:24. Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. Notice the verb tense. Believe you have received, not will receive. This is the secret code of having. You must possess it in the spiritual before it manifests in the natural. You must feel the weight of it in your spirit before you hold it in your hands. This isn't pretending. This isn't fake it till you make it. This is recognizing that in the realm of spirit, the transaction is already complete. The check has been signed. The transfer has been authorized. You're just waiting for the physical world to catch up to spiritual reality. The third principle is atmospheric alignment. Your environment must match your elevation. This is why many of you have experienced sudden relationship shifts, unexpected departures, surprising disconnections. Heaven has been clearing your atmosphere for what's coming. You cannot receive palace provision while maintaining prison relationships. You cannot step into having while surrounded by those committed to lacking. Look at what happened to the widow in 2 Kings 4:1-7. Elisha didn't just pray for her provision. He told her to go to her neighbors and gather empty vessels. But then, and this is crucial, he said, go in and shut the door behind yourself and your sons. The miracle of multiplication happened in isolation. The shift from wanting oil to having abundance occurred when she separated herself from those who might doubt, question, or contaminate her faith. Some of you have been feeling unusually isolated lately. Friends have fallen away. Family seems distant. Social circles have shrunk. This isn't rejection. It's protection. It's heaven creating a sterile environment for your miracle to manifest without interference. The shift from wanting to having requires a certain sanctity of space, a holiness of atmosphere that cannot coexist with doubt, jealousy, or small thinking. But here's what's magnificent about this shift. It's not just individual. It's generational. Proverbs 13:22 declares, a good person leaves an inheritance to their children's children. When you shift from wanting to having, you're not just changing your story. You're rewriting your family's entire narrative. The poverty that haunted your bloodline stops with you. The lack that lurked in your family tree is being cut off at the root. Your children will never know the weight of want you carried. They'll grow up assuming abundance is normal, that provision is natural, that having is their birthright. Your breakthrough becomes their baseline. Your ceiling becomes their floor. What took you 40 years to achieve will take them 4. This shift isn't just about you getting blessed. It's about you becoming a blessing distribution center for generations. Let me tell you what having actually looks like, because it's different than what wanting imagines. Wanting imagines having as constant acquisition, endless accumulation, perpetual getting. But true having is about flow, not storage. It's about being a channel, not a container. When you shift into having, you become like the Dead Sea transformed into the River Jordan. No longer just receiving, but constantly releasing, constantly flowing, constantly blessing. Having means waking up without checking your bank balance first. It means making decisions from vision, not provision. It means saying yes to purpose without calculating cost. It means breathing deeply for the first time in years because the weight of lack has been lifted. Having means your creativity explodes because you're no longer creating from desperation, but from inspiration. Your relationships deepen because you're no longer taking but giving. Your health improves because stress no longer strangles your cells. I need you to understand the technology of this transition. When you shift from wanting to having, specific things happen in precise order. First, your language changes. You stop saying, "I need," and start saying, "I have access to." You stop declaring, "I can't afford," and start declaring, "I'm being guided to the provision." This isn't positive thinking. It's prophetic speaking. Your words are construction material for your reality. Second, your nervous system recalibrates. That constant anxiety, that low-grade panic about provision, it dissipates. Your body stops producing stress hormones and starts producing growth hormones. You literally become younger, stronger, more vibrant. Having heals what wanting wounded. The shift shows up in your skin, your posture, your voice. People will ask what's different about you before any external evidence appears. Third, divine connections accelerate. When you vibrate at the frequency of having, you attract others who operate in abundance. Suddenly, the right people appear with the right opportunities at the right time. Phone calls come out of nowhere. Emails arrive unexpectedly. Chance meetings aren't chance at all. The universe conspires to confirm what heaven has already declared. You have shifted from wanting to having. Now let me expose something religion has hidden. This shift doesn't require perfection. You don't have to be sin-free to be blessed. You don't have to be flawless to flow in abundance. Look at David, murdered and committed adultery, yet God still called him a man after his own heart and blessed him abundantly. Look at Peter, denied Christ 3 times, yet became the rock upon which the church was built. God doesn't bless perfection. He blesses position. And you, chosen one, are positioned for this shift. The enemy wants you to believe you're disqualified because of your past, your mistakes, your current struggles. But heaven operates on grace, not grades. The shift from wanting to having isn't a reward for good behavior. It's a response to divine timing. And your time is now. Not because you're perfect, but because you're prepared. Not because you're worthy, but because you're willing. I need to address the fear that's trying to creep in right now. The voice whispering, "What if this isn't for me? What if I'm the exception? What if everyone else shifts, but I stay stuck in wanting?" That fear is evidence that the shift is happening. The enemy only attacks what threatens his kingdom. Your doubt is proof of your destiny. Your fear confirms your future. If you weren't about to shift, hell wouldn't be working so hard to convince you otherwise. Remember what happened in Exodus 14:13-14. Israel stood at the Red Sea, trapped between water and warriors, suspended between slavery and freedom. Moses declared, "Fear not, stand firm and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will work for you today. For the Egyptians whom you see today, you shall never see again. The Lord will fight for you, and you have only to be silent." That's where you stand right now. Between wanting and having. Between history and destiny. Between what was and what will be. And God is saying, be still. Stop striving. Stop stressing. I'm shifting you from the realm where you fight for everything into the realm where everything flows to you. The fourth principle of this shift is divine acceleration. What should take years will take months. What should take months will take weeks. What should take weeks will take days. God is collapsing time on your behalf. He's fast-tracking your breakthrough. The compound interest of heaven is being applied to your situation. Every seed you've sown in tears is about to produce a harvest of joy. And the multiplication factor will defy mathematical logic. Joel 2:25 promises, "I will restore to you the years that the swarming locust has eaten." But God doesn't just restore. He upgrades. You're not getting back what you lost. You're getting better than what you would have had if you'd never lost anything. The years of wanting weren't subtracted from your life. They were invested in your future. And the return on that investment is about to manifest in ways that will make your enemies wish they'd been your friends. Let me tell you what's already happening in the spiritual realm as you receive this word. Angels have been dispatched with provision packages addressed to you. They're carrying solutions to problems you haven't even articulated yet. They're delivering connections to people you haven't met yet. They're arranging circumstances for breakthroughs you haven't imagined yet. The shift from wanting to having has already been authorized in heaven's court. Earth is just processing the paperwork, but here's where human participation becomes crucial. You must act like someone who has before the having appears. This isn't pretense, it's practice. Start making decisions from abundance, not lack. When you go to the grocery store, stop buying from fear of running out. Buy from faith in continuous supply. When opportunities present themselves, stop calculating what you don't have. Start counting on what's already been promised. Begin tithing on the income you're about to receive. Start planning for the vision that seems impossible with current resources. Begin speaking to your situation like someone who has heaven's backing, because you do. The shift from wanting to having isn't just about receiving more, it's about becoming more. You're not just getting blessed, you're becoming a blessing. You're not just receiving favor, you're becoming favor for others. This transformation goes deeper than your bank account. It reaches into your identity. For too long, wanting has been who you were, not just what you experienced. You became the person who wants, who lacks, who needs. But God is reaching into the core of your identity and extracting that poverty spirit, that orphan mentality, that scarcity mindset. He's replacing it with the identity of a child of the King, an heir of the kingdom, a distributor of heaven's wealth. The fifth principle is grateful receivership. Having without gratitude becomes hoarding. Abundance without appreciation becomes arrogance. But when you shift from wanting to having with a heart of thanksgiving, you become a magnet for more. Gratitude is the multiplication factor in heaven's economy. It's the interest rate on divine deposits. Every thank you opens another window. Every praise opens another door. Look at what Jesus did with 5 loaves and 2 fish in Matthew 14:19. Before the multiplication, there was thanksgiving. He looked up to heaven and gave thanks, then broke the bread. Gratitude preceded the miracle. Thanksgiving triggered the transformation. Your shift from wanting to having accelerates when you thank God for what hasn't appeared yet, when you praise Him for promises still in process. Right now, I want you to feel the shift happening in real time. Your chest might be burning. Your hands might be tingling. Tears might be falling. That's not emotion. That's transformation. Your spiritual DNA is being rewritten. The poverty gene is being deleted. The abundance gene is being activated. Generations of lack are being broken off your bloodline. Centuries of wanting are being cancelled in a moment. The sixth principle is strategic stewardship. When you shift from wanting to having, you become a manager, not just a receiver. God doesn't give you abundance to consume, but to cultivate. He doesn't bless you to stop, but to start. The having isn't the destination. It's the vehicle. It's the resource for your real assignment. You've been wanting so you could one day have, but you'll have so you can finally become who you were created to be. Think about Solomon in 1 Kings 3:5-13. God offered him anything. He could have asked for wealth, long life, victory over enemies, but he asked for wisdom to govern God's people. Because he didn't ask for riches, God gave him riches beyond measure. When you understand that having is about assignment, not accumulation, heaven trusts you with unlimited resources. Your assignment has been waiting for your resources to arrive. That business idea, that ministry vision, that creative project, that humanitarian dream, they've all been on hold while you were stuck in wanting. But now that you're shifting to having, those dreams are waking up. Those visions are coming alive. Those ideas are demanding manifestation. The having isn't for your comfort. It's for your calling. I need to expose something critical here. The shift from wanting to having will trigger spiritual warfare. The moment heaven authorizes your abundance, hell mobilizes its resistance. You might experience unusual attacks, unexpected obstacles, strange setbacks. Don't be alarmed. This is confirmation, not contradiction. The enemy only fights what threatens his agenda. Your shift from wanting to having disrupts the economy of lack that keeps people enslaved. But here's your advantage. The same God who authorized your shift also guaranteed your protection. Psalm 91:11 promises, For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. Your provision comes with protection. Your blessing comes with backing. Your having comes with heavenly security. No weapon formed against your abundance shall prosper. No scheme designed against your shift shall succeed. The seventh principle is exponential expansion. Having breeds having. Abundance attracts abundance. When you shift from wanting to having, you enter a multiplication matrix where increase becomes automatic. Jesus explained this in Matthew 25:29. For to everyone who has will more be given, and he will have an abundance. This isn't unfair, it's universal law. Having creates a gravitational pull that attracts more having. But this expansion isn't just material. Your influence expands. Your impact increases. Your voice amplifies. People who ignored you in your wanting will seek you in your having. Not just for what you have, but for who you've become. The shift transforms you into a wisdom carrier, a solution provider, a hope distributor. Your testimony becomes someone else's breakthrough blueprint. Let me tell you what's about to happen in the next 90 days, because the shift from wanting to having operates on divine timelines. Within 30 days, you'll see the first evidence. It might be small, an unexpected check, a surprise opportunity, a random blessing. Don't despise it. That's the crack in the dam. Within 60 days, the flow increases. Multiple streams begin opening. Different directions of provision start manifesting. Within 90 days, the full shift is evident. You'll look back and barely recognize the person who was wanting, but here's the warning. During this 90-day transition, you'll be tested. Old patterns will try to reassert themselves. Poverty thinking will attempt a comeback. Scarcity spirits will whisper their familiar lies. This is where most people sabotage their shift. They get scared of having. They feel guilty about abundance. They unconsciously recreate lack because it feels familiar. Don't you dare sabotage this shift. When guilt comes, remember that God delights in prospering his children. Psalm 35:27 says, "Let them shout for joy and be glad who favor my righteous cause. And let them say continually, let the Lord be magnified, who has pleasure in the prosperity of his servant." God takes pleasure in your prosperity. Your abundance brings him joy. Your having glorifies him more than your wanting ever could. The eighth principle is covenant confirmation. This shift from wanting to having isn't a one-time event. It's a covenant establishment. God is entering into a permanent agreement with you. Like he did with Abraham in Genesis 17, he's establishing an everlasting covenant of provision, protection, and multiplication. This isn't temporary relief. This is permanent reality. You're not visiting the realm of having, you're relocating there permanently. But covenants require commitment. Your part is to maintain the frequency of having, even when circumstances suggest wanting. Your part is to speak abundance when evidence shows lack. Your part is to give generously when logic says conserve. Your part is to trust completely when fear says doubt. This isn't hard, it's holy. It's the sacred exchange between heaven and earth, between creator and created. I need you to understand the corporate dimension of this shift. You're not shifting alone. There's a collective elevation happening among God's chosen ones globally. A wealth transfer of biblical proportions is underway. Proverbs 13:22 declares, "The wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous." That storage facility is being opened. That transfer has been initiated. You're part of a massive economic shift that will fund the end-time harvest. This is bigger than your bills being paid. This is about kingdom resources being released for kingdom purposes. You're being funded to fund others. You're being blessed to be a blessing pipeline. You're shifting from wanting to having so others can shift through your having. Your abundance becomes their answer. Your overflow becomes their opportunity. Your blessing becomes their breakthrough. The ninth principle is supernatural synchronization. When you shift from wanting to having, divine timing takes over. You'll find yourself at the right place at exactly the right moment. Conversations will happen that change everything. Connections will form that accelerate everything. Doors will open that access everything. This isn't luck. It's alignment. Heaven is synchronizing circumstances to confirm your shift. Watch what happens to your creativity when you shift from wanting to having. Ideas that were dormant wake up. Innovations that were impossible become obvious. Solutions that were hidden become visible. When you're not consumed with survival, you can create from revival. When you're not focused on lack, you can innovate from abundance. Your best ideas, your greatest contributions, your most powerful creations are waiting on the other side of this shift. The 10th principle is generational establishment. This shift doesn't just change your future, it rewrites your past. Every ancestor who struggled with lack is vindicated through your abundance. Every prayer they prayed for provision is answered in your having. You become the living testimony that their faith wasn't in vain. Their tears weren't wasted. Their struggles weren't meaningless. But more importantly, you establish a new normal for your lineage. Your children won't inherit your wanting. They'll inherit your having. They'll grow up with a different relationship with resources. They'll assume abundance, expect provision, and operate from overflow. The generational curse of poverty ends with you. The generational blessing of abundance begins with you. Chosen one, let me tell you what's happening in your body right now as this shift occurs. Your cells are literally reorganizing. The stress hormones that poverty produces are being flushed out. The abundance hormones of peace, joy, and creativity are flooding in. You might feel lighter, like weights have been removed from your shoulders. You might feel energy returning that you forgot you had. This is medical, not just mystical. Having heals what wanting wounded. Your brain is forming new neural pathways, creating abundance highways where there were only scarcity streets. Your heart rhythm is stabilizing, finding the peace pattern of provision. Your digestive system is relaxing, no longer clenched in survival mode. Your entire biological system is shifting from fight or flight to rest and receive. This is whole person transformation, spirit, soul, and body. Now let me address the practical application of this shift. Tomorrow morning you'll wake up different, not because circumstances changed overnight, but because you changed. You'll make decisions differently. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this?" you'll ask, "Is this aligned with my assignment?" Instead of thinking, "I don't have enough," you'll think, "I have access to everything I need." Start practicing having before having appears. Walk through stores like someone who could buy anything but chooses wisely. Speak to your bills like someone who has supernatural backing. Plan your future like someone with unlimited resources but strategic purpose. This isn't fantasy. It's faith in action. It's training your natural to align with your spiritual. It's teaching your visible to match your invisible. The enemy's final strategy against your shift is distraction. He'll create chaos to keep you focused on problems instead of promises. He'll orchestrate emergencies to make you forget this word. He'll manufacture crises to pull you back into wanting. Don't take the bait. Keep your eyes fixed on the shift. Keep your heart anchored in having. Keep your mind renewed to abundance. Remember what Peter experienced in Matthew 14:28-31. He walked on water until he looked at the wind and waves. He operated in the miraculous until he focused on the natural. Don't let the winds of circumstance or the waves of situation distract you from the shift that's already in motion. Keep walking on the water of this word. Keep moving toward the having that's already yours. Chosen one, as we prepare to seal this shift, I need you to understand its irreversibility. Once heaven shifts you from wanting to having, hell cannot shift you back. Once the Father signs your release from lack, no force can re-imprison you. Once the kingdom authorizes your abundance, no economy can override it. This shift is permanent, irreversible, and undeniable, but you must guard this shift like the treasure it is. Guard it with gratitude. Protect it with praise. Defend it with declaration. Maintain it with meditation on these truths. The shift from wanting to having isn't just an event you experience. It's a reality you maintain, a frequency you sustain, a position you defend. In the coming days, you'll be tempted to doubt this word. The familiar voice of wanting will whisper, "Nothing has changed, but everything has changed." You've been marked for manifestation. You've been selected for shift. You've been chosen for change. The universe has received notice. Angels have received assignments. Resources have received release orders. The shift from wanting to having is already accomplished in the spirit, already manifesting in the natural. Your testimony is being written right now. People will ask you, how did everything change so quickly? You'll tell them about this moment, this word, this shift. You'll become living proof that God still moves suddenly, still provides supernaturally, still transforms completely. Your shift from wanting to having becomes someone else's evidence that their shift is possible too. As I close this declaration over your life, I want you to feel the finality of it. The season of wanting is over, done, finished. The season of having has begun, started, initiated. You're not hoping for shift. You're walking in shift. You're not waiting for having. You're operating from having. The transaction is complete. The transfer is done. The transformation is sealed. From this moment forward, you are no longer identified by lack, but by abundance. No longer defined by need, but by overflow. No longer limited by wanting, but launched into having. This is your new identity, your new reality, your new normal. Heaven has spoken it. Earth must manifest it. Angels are enforcing it, and hell cannot stop it. Chosen one, welcome to the realm of having. Welcome to the dimension of abundance. Welcome to the reality of overflow. Your shift is complete. Your season has changed. Your wanting has ended. Your having has begun. Walk in it, live from it, operate through it, and never, ever look back. If this message has marked your spirit, if you feel the shift happening within you, don't let this moment pass unmarked. Comment, I am shifting from wanting to having as your declaration of agreement. Share this word with someone still trapped in wanting. Subscribe to stay connected to these divine downloads. Your engagement isn't just interaction, it's participation in your transformation. Remember, the shift from wanting to having isn't something you achieve, it's something you receive. And you've received it today. Heaven celebrates your shift. Angels rejoice over your transformation. And all of creation watches as another chosen one steps from the prison of wanting into the palace of having. Until next time, walk in your having, live from your abundance, and never forget that you are chosen, you are shifted, and you are already living in the realm of having. The evidence is coming, but the shift has already happened. God bless you, chosen one. Your new season starts now.